Okay, this is my second time filming this video because I just filmed half of this video and then my battery died and I lost my footage. Which is ironic because the last time this happened was the last time I made a budget video. I feel like Satan's against me or something. Like he wants us to waste our money. He wants me to give up filming this video. So I'm not gonna do it. I'm gonna persevere. We're gonna refilm this and I'm gonna have a good attitude about it. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Madison and I make videos about ministry, motherhood, and marriage. I recently made a highly requested video, which was how I manage our very tight budget for our family. My husband and I are both in ministry. He works full-time leading a small church planting here in Central Oregon, and I work part-time leading the women's ministry, as well as staying home with my daughter, Saoirse, who's almost 2, and we're due with another baby on the way, due in May. So we're very busy people, but we have a very tight budget. So managing our finances well is very, very important. If you're interested in watching that previous video about how I manage our tight family budget, I will link that above right here. Connected to that last video, I am going to be making a video for you all about 15 ways that I save money as a stay-at-home, work-from-home mom, as well as a preacher's wife. Preachers don't tend to get paid a lot of money. We're so grateful for what the church provides for us. We truly are, but we keep a very tight, strict budget. It's really, really important that we do that. So I want to share some ways that I save money with all of you. If you enjoy this video, be sure to give it a big thumbs up, as well as hit the subscribe button down below. It really supports my channel. I want to start by reading a scripture out of the Bible from Proverbs chapter 31, verse 27. It says, "She looks well to the ways of her household and does not eat the bread of idleness." This scripture I found to be very, very convicting as I was preparing to outline this video and just share some of these thoughts with you all, because it says that she manages her household well and she doesn't eat the bread of idleness or laziness is kind of how I think about idleness. That I understand that. I am pregnant, I have a toddler, I'm working, my husband is very busy, so I am tired a lot of the time. And it's very tempting for me to lean into laziness, to lean into just idleness. And I think that's a character trait that God has really changed in me over time, but I can definitely feel that temptation. Rest is a good thing. I am not glorifying just busyness in general. I don't think that busyness is glorifying to God at all, but I do think that rest is glorifying to God and can be. But I think we know the difference between a much needed rest and just being idle in general. And the Bible is pretty clear that those who do not work do not eat. So I think it's really important that as women, if you manage the finances of your home or of just yourself in general, if you're not married and don't have kids, that you do it well. You manage your household well. A part of managing our household well is being on top of our finances and taking care of those things, preparing for the future, preparing our home for the future. And I think the Proverbs 31 woman is a great example of that. So I wanted to just start us there and really keep us rooted in the Word of God always. Managing your finances can feel pretty overwhelming, especially if that's not something that you were taught from a young age. I think teaching your kids about budgeting is really important and a great skill, but maybe you weren't taught that from a young age, or maybe it's not something that you have really leaned into yet in your character development. Maybe it's something that you're just not naturally administratively very gifted, or perhaps you married someone who has a lot of debt, or you have a lot of debt, and that has made looking at finances just really overwhelming to you. I hope that these tips are helpful and that they don't feel overwhelming. I would just encourage you to implement one of these things per month for the next year, and you'll have 12 different things and ways that you are starting to save money, and I think that's really glorifying to God and a way to take care of your household well. So please don't be overwhelmed by this. Please let this be encouraging to you and supportive to you in your walk with God and in your management of your finances at home. The first thing that I want to share is that a super simple way that I save money every single day is by just simply opening up the blinds, opening up the curtains, and letting the sunshine in. When I wake up early in the morning and it's still dark out, I will turn on very limited light, like a lamp or one light that's in the kitchen that goes over our sink, just so I can kind of make coffee. But I keep things very just dark and cozy before it gets light outside, and don't just turn on all the lights in my house. And then as it gets brighter and lighter, I open all the windows. When Saoirse wakes up in the morning, I open up the blinds and the curtains in her room. I do the same thing in our bedroom. And I just think it's a really easy way to keep your lights off, conserve energy, save money, let some healthy sunshine in that is really good for your circadian rhythms to help you sleep better, have more energy throughout the day. Your body's seeing how light it is outside rather than just being under, fake lights indoors is really, really important for your overall health. So I'd really encourage you, just open up your windows, open up your blinds, and let the sunshine in instead of turning on your lights and wasting money that you get for free outside, especially in sunny Central Oregon. Like, I'm so grateful for the sun that we get here. So if you live somewhere sunny, save some money, that rhymed, and open up your windows. The next mom money saving hack that I have for you is to just choose to be more reusable in your purchases rather than one-time uses. This can apply to so many things, from Ziploc bags to, beeswax coverings rather than saran wrap. There's just a lot of great ways. A lot of this kind of stuff obviously applies to finances, but is also just great for the environment and the earth in general, to pick things that are reusable and sustainable rather than one-time use and disposable. But the one thing that I have changed is that I made the switch from disposable water wipes for Saoirse. Instead of buying a huge box of those once a month or every other month for diaper changes, I made the switch to reusable cloth wipes. I purchased the ones from Grovia on Amazon. I believe they're about $13. Great investment. We use them every single day. You really only need one per diaper change, maybe two if it's a dirty diaper. I have found that I use way less wipes. They work a lot more effectively. They're a lot more affordable, and I don't have to just be throwing these water wipes away constantly. Water wipes are great. They're a great brand, but they're also very expensive. And really, like 3 or 4 packages of water wipes is the equivalent to one package of these reusable wipes cost-wise. So I'd really encourage you, especially if you already cloth diaper, which is a great money-saving hack as well that I've talked a lot about, is to just go ahead and start using reusable cloth wipes. You could even make these yourself if you'd like to. They're just a really easy switch to save some money around the house. My next thing along on that same trend is to choose to use microfiber rags rather than paper towels in your kitchen. We will typically buy one bulk size package of paper towels from Costco once a year, and it'll take us all year to go through that package of paper towels. I just typically have about 10 to 12 microfiber rags or towels in our kitchen, towel drawer, and I go through 1 or 2 of those a day. I use them to wipe off our counters. I use them to clean basically everything in our home, and I just think they're a much more affordable way to clean up around your home. Paper towels are super wasteful and super expensive, so I'd really encourage you to make that switch. If you're really worried about germs or something, just have different colored towels that are designated for different things. Like, have a specific towel that is used for only drying your clean hands. That is just a really simple switch. And then have your rag out and just easy to clean things up. You obviously want to switch these out daily and keep them clean, but you can just keep a little pail under your sink where you put the dirty rags and then toss them in the wash. I just toss them in my everyday loads, and then as they come out as I'm folding laundry, I just put them back in the kitchen, and I always have rags. The next thing that I want to talk about is learning how to cook from scratch with whole foods. This is a really important skill set to have to really keep your household healthy, to keep your household on a good budget, is not just falling into the trap of buying a bunch of prepackaged meals all the time. Those have their time and place. I think it's important to have something easy on hand that you can pull out at a moment's notice if you are sick or you just don't have the energy to make something, but that shouldn't be your daily routine, is just pulling something out because you don't have any energy left to make something for dinner. I'd really encourage you to learn how to cook from scratch. Yes, it can take more time. It doesn't have to, but it typically does take a little bit more prep time for you. But this is really going to save you a lot of money because prepackaged meals are typically much more expensive. They typically don't taste as good, and they're typically not as good for you. So really would encourage you to learn how to cook from scratch with whole foods. Let's talk about shopping organically. I try to shop organically as often as possible for a lot of reasons. Organic produce does not have pesticides, along with a lot of other things. Organic is not just some stupid symbol that they throw on produce to make it more expensive. I've heard that misconception before, and it's not. It really is a much healthier choice for you in the long run. And simply washing an apple off in the sink, like quickly under water, that's not going to remove the harsh chemicals that was put onto that non-organically grown apple. It's not the same thing as eating an organic apple by just washing your food. So I'd really encourage you to look into what it means to shop organically and why, if you don't really care about that, or you're not really interested, or have felt like, oh, it's just a hoax or something. Like, please look into that. Please learn why it's important to shop organically. I know that people oftentimes veer away from that because they think it's too expensive, and so it's not a priority. And I think that it's important to shop organically. I do this even on a very tight budget, and I will tell you how. I do this by going to bargain stores. So for us in Oregon, that looks like going to places like Winco and grocery outlets. Wherever you live, the stores are probably different, but go to some of those bargain stores that are in your area and just head straight to the produce aisle and see what organic vegetables and fruits they have available. Sometimes those stores have much more limited quantities of organic items, if they have them even at all. So try to find a store that is a bargain store, as well as somewhere that provides organic produce. I think it's really important, and at least gives you a place to start your shopping at. If they don't have everything you need, then you can move into the non-organic section, but at least you've started there and are still doing it in a budget-friendly way. The next way that I save a lot of money is by learning how to cook my own breads, desserts, and side dishes. If you're a part of a church, they probably do a lot of potlucks. We're kind of known for them. We do them a lot. So there's a lot of group meals. You're oftentimes asked to bring something along with you to contribute to that meal. That's what a potluck is. But in order to do that, people oftentimes put it off until the last minute and then end up just buying something from the store that's pre-made, pre-packaged, and that's going to be a lot more expensive. So I'd really encourage you to start learning how to bake your own breads, your own desserts, and your own sides from home. They're typically going to be healthier, they're going to be a lot more affordable, and they're going to be better for you overall. The next thing on my list is do not kill time at money-wasting stores. Those stores are going to look different for all of us based on your personality, your lifestyle, your gender, everything. So whatever those stores are for you, just avoid them. Don't even pull into the parking lot. Just go on home. Drive on past them. They're typically a place that we buy things we don't need and oftentimes don't even necessarily want long term, but it's just kind of a way to kill time when we're dinking around town. So I'd really encourage you to just drive on past those stores, as well as places like a Starbucks. Like getting coffee, guys. I know we all talk about this a lot. I love a good cup of coffee, but I think that coffee can oftentimes just be more of an accessory than like an actual need. And I can find myself thinking, well, I have an extra 20 minutes. I could just drive through Starbucks and get something that I like before I have to be somewhere in town. To me, it's just another place to kill time and waste money. So avoid places that you tend to waste a lot of money and buy things that you just don't need. Along that same line, just spend more time at home. Like, we waste so much time around town doing things that we just are not really necessary. Spend more time at home. If you can, just go home early. Just go home in between appointments and things like that. Like, enjoy time in your home. And that's a place that you don't spend money unless you're shopping online, which is, you know, not really something I'm going to talk about today, but exercise self-control, obviously, when you're shopping online. But just go home and spend some more time at home. It's an easy place to obviously not spend money and to even just learn how to develop more skills of homemaking. Things like cooking, things like sewing, like cleaning, like whatever it is that you want to develop in your character. It's just a lot easier to do those things in your own home. So I hope that your home is a safe place. I hope your home is a place of peace for you. I would really encourage you to spend less time out and about at places that you just waste time and money, and more time at home. The next tip that's on my list is to consistently minimize and declutter your home. This is a great way to save money. It may seem counterintuitive because you're getting rid of things. How does that save me money? Well, it saves you money because you're going to be more aware of what things you already have at home so that you're not buying multiples, as well as just what food is left over in your fridge, what clothes you already own that maybe you forgot about, you know, that are stuffed into a drawer, your, you know, pre-pregnancy clothes that you fit into again, but just forgot you had that box of, or whatever it is. Just keeping your space in your home filled with items that are only things you actually use and enjoy is a really easy way to save money. The next tip on my list is to let your fridge get empty. A lot of Americans shop in bulk, and bulk shopping has its needs and its times and places, but I let my fridge get pretty sparse in between grocery shopping trips. And I think this is really important because when we just keep our fridge constantly full, first of all, food does not last forever. It has an expiration date. So you're going to have a lot of food in there that is gross, that is expired, and that is not good for you anymore, but is stinking up your fridge. So get it out of there. So you're going to have a lot of food that's going to waste in your fridge. Thinking that you have this abundance of food in your fridge, it's just kind of like a false sense of security, because depending on your family size, you probably cannot go through that much food that quickly. And if you can, then great. But I think it's important that we let our fridges get empty before we go shopping again. And in addition to that, I like to keep different organizers in my fridge so that I can clearly see what food I do have available. They're clear bins. Highly recommend that. One of the bins that I keep in my fridge is basically a leftovers / eat me first kind of bin. So things that I put in there would be vegetables that I can tell are on their last couple breaths of life. They're leftovers that really should not be in the fridge for more than 24 to 48 hours. They're things like that that are on their way to expiring and need to get eaten first so that they don't go to waste. That is a really simple way to save money, eat the food that you've already bought, and throw away less wasted expired food. Sorry about that, guys. I actually had to stop and refilm this last part of the video because once again I lost my footage. Like, my camera dies and then the SD card runs out, or just all these different things. So I feel like Satan is hindering these budget videos and it's so frustrating to me. But this is literally like 2 weeks later that I'm filming the second half of this video. So anyways, I'm just gonna go ahead and keep the ball rolling. We're gonna keep going here. But I did find the same shirt, so there's a little continuity there. So the next thing that I want to talk about is making your own non-toxic cleaners. It is so easy to spend a lot of money on cleaning products in your home, and I've definitely been guilty of this because I want to have a clean home and I want my home to smell nice and I want it to be clean and just taken care of. But I think that we really have great opportunities to just use more natural ingredients at home and things like that to clean our home with, and it's so much more affordable. Making your own non-toxic cleaners can be as simple as having a glass bottle that is halfway full of vinegar and halfway full of water, and you can add some essential oils to that, or you could drop in some, citrus peels like lemon or orange or lime or something, let them dilute in that mixture for a while, and then just strain them out. And then you have a really great smelling cleaning product that you can pretty much use on anything. You can use this in your bathroom, your floors, your windows, your countertops, anything at all. Really high quality, and it's non-toxic. Those kinds of things really put my mind at ease a lot, because I know that if Saoirse were to get into my cleaning cabinet somehow and accidentally consume some of it, I would much rather her consume some vinegar water with some orange peels in it rather than, something really toxic that contained like bleach or just so much worse chemicals out there. So really encourage you to make that switch. The next budget saving hack is to stop buying books. Okay, I'm surrounded by books. I'm very guilty of buying books for many, many years. I love having a great library in my home to choose from. I love holding physical books. Don't get me wrong, I love books and I love reading, but I just think that we miss a great opportunity to save money by going to your library. You would be amazed. If you live in a decent sized town, you would probably be amazed at how many books they already have that you can choose from, so you don't have to buy them. I don't typically read books more than once or twice in my life, except of course for the Bible, guys. But, there's not a lot of books out there in addition to the Bible that I am going to be reading through multiple times throughout my life, like more than twice. And even if you were, you could still get it from your library or borrow it from a friend. So I have really taken advantage of our local library system, as well as apps like Hoopla and Libby. These are incredible apps that connect through your local library, and you can download audiobooks, ebooks, as well as just your local library app. Sometimes those apps are how you can connect and put books on hold at your library. So I would just really encourage you to take advantage of your local library of audiobooks and free audiobooks. You don't have to download Audible to listen to audiobooks. So take advantage of your local library system of free audiobooks and stop buying so many books. I know it's tempting. I love books, but they can get very spendy very quickly. The next thing on my list is to learn how to sew. Sewing has been a really fun, hobby and craft that I've picked up over the last year, and I've really enjoyed being able to hand make some clothes for my kids. I have some projects of clothing that I'd like to make for myself in the future. I've made a couple of quilts at this point, some bonnets for Saoirse, and for friends for baby showers and things like that. And I just think that sewing is a really fun way to give handmade gifts. They're typically more affordable. You can redecorate so many things in your home just by being able to sew. You could make a covering for your couch or pillow covers, blankets, so many things that can just really spice up your home and add a little different color for such a more affordable thing than going to Target and buying a brand new, down comforter or something for one of your children. Make them a quilt yourself. Now, I'm not saying that quilting is always cheap, but it definitely can be. Sewing can be a much more affordable option, especially if you're reusing things, reusing fabric that you purchased from a thrift store, or clothing that, maybe is too big for your child that you're sizing down. So many things. It's just a really fun and creative way to save money and make something out of, make something from your own hands. A really effective way to stay on top of your budget and to save money as a family is to go over your budget every single week with your spouse. I think taking 5 or 10 minutes to review your budget every week with your spouse can really be a great effective way of staying on top of your finances, because if you're not looking at your finances, then you're not going to be aware of how much you're spending, of how much each of you individually are spending, and it gives a great opportunity for us to reflect on, hey, we've already spent our whole, eating out budget for the month. We can't be eating out anymore. Like, we have to stop. Or so many other things, a grocery bill or whatever, that we can stay on top of those things together and be communicating proactively rather than reactively, because stress in finances can be one of the biggest, causes for arguments and just fracturing of marriages. So I would love for you to save yourself from that stress of, the tension around finances, and do that by actively and proactively going over your budget together as a couple on a very consistent basis. The last thing that I want to mention is it is now March here in Central Oregon. It is beautiful. It is sunny. It's not summer yet, not like warm just yet, but it's definitely getting nicer and nicer every day. The days are getting longer, and one really easy way to just save money is by opening up all of your windows, letting all of the just toxic things that can build up in your home, from dust to, fragrances to different things, letting that blow out of your window, getting some fresh air in. If it's a little bit of a cooler day, it's a great way to get some cool air into your home rather than having to spend money on air conditioning. If it's a warmer day, vice versa. Just, filling your home up with nice fresh air and letting that kind of regulate your home's temperature more than paying for, a central heating system to do that for you. It's really not that hard to throw on a sweater and some socks if it's 2 degrees too cold, or to shed some layers if it's a little bit of a warmer day. So thank you for your patience as I've had to stop and refilm this video a little bit later down the road, but I hope that it was really helpful to you in your budget as a family, and that it can be just a great addition to, bringing peace into your life and really bringing order into your finances. Thank you for watching. If you're new here, be sure to subscribe and hit the like button down below, and I'll see you in my next video.